Ladies and gentlemen, hear me when I say this. Riches are not something you pursue. Riches are something you attract by who you become. You don't get rich by accident. You get rich by design. You don't wait for your circumstances to change. You program yourself to be the person who commands wealth into existence. Today, I'm going to show you 6 key principles to rewire your mind, your habits, and your heart so that riches chase you down instead of you chasing them. Everybody wants to change their life. Everybody wants a better car, a bigger house, a higher bank balance, and more freedom. But most people are going about it completely backward. They're trying to fix the fruit instead of the root. They are trying to fix the symptoms without curing the disease. They are chasing after the fruit of success, but they're ignoring the soil, the seed, and the tree that produces the fruit in the first place. You don't fix a sick tree by gluing apples to the branches. You don't fix a diseased tree by spray painting the leaves green. That's what the world teaches you to do. Polish the outside, perform the part, pretend you're successful while you're struggling inside, but you can't fake fruit. If the tree is bad, the fruit will be bad. If the root is rotten, no matter what you hang on the outside, it's going to wither and die eventually. The root is your mindset. The root is your beliefs. The root is your identity. The root is the part of you that no one can see, but everyone can feel. People can smell desperation. They can feel when you don't believe in yourself. They can sense when you're trying to sell something you don't even think you deserve to have. That's why programming yourself for riches is not about how you dress, what car you drive, or what networking event you attend. It's about what you are rooted in. If your belief is rooted in lack, then lack will be your harvest. If your belief is rooted in fear, then fear will choke out your dreams like weeds in a garden. Your belief is rooted in I'm not good enough, then you'll find yourself subconsciously sabotaging every blessing that tries to show up in your life. You'll push away opportunities. You'll procrastinate on ideas. You'll say no to doors God himself is trying to open for you. Because your roots are contaminated with lies you accepted a long time ago. Real transformation begins when you dig down and rip up the old roots. When you stop patching up the fruit and you start asking yourself the real questions. What do I really believe about money? What do I believe about wealth? What do I believe about people who are successful? What do I believe about my own worthiness to prosper? These questions are not cute. They're not easy. They are invasive. They are messy. Because the truth is, a lot of us were handed roots of poverty, fear, shame, and guilt by people who didn't know any better. And unless you intentionally uproot them, they will keep producing the same barren harvest year after year after year. See, the soil you plant your mind in matters. You can't plant yourself in negativity, doubt, and small thinking and expect to reap abundance, influence, and impact. It doesn't work like that. God designed the universe to operate by seed time and harvest. What you sow internally, you reap externally. If you sow scarcity, you reap limitations. If you sow abundance, you reap opportunities. If you sow vision, you reap provision. It's law. And it's working whether you understand it or not, whether you like it or not, whether you believe it or not. But here's the good news. You are not stuck with the roots you were handed. You can choose today to dig up the old, plant the new, and nurture it daily until it bears fruit that matches your destiny. You can plant seeds of faith where there used to be fear. You can plant seeds of abundance where there used to be scarcity. You can plant seeds of purpose where there used to be confusion. And once the root changes, the fruit must change. It's automatic. It's inevitable. Imagine a man who's tired of eating bitter fruit. Year after year, he complains about how sour his harvest is. He blames the weather. He blames the insects. He blames the other farmers. But one day, someone points out to him, brother, you're planting bitter seeds. It's not the world conspiring against you. It's your own planting that's the problem. That realization hits him like a thunderbolt. Because the moment he understands that the root determines the fruit, he can finally take responsibility for his life. He can finally stop waiting for outside circumstances to change and start changing himself from the inside out. Your life is the visible expression of your invisible programming. Whatever is deeply rooted inside will eventually manifest outside. There is no hiding. There is no escaping it. The internal world is the cause. The external world is the effect. If you want a different life, you have to plant different seeds, nourish them with different thoughts, water them with different words, and cultivate them with different actions. It is a process. It is a discipline. It is not a one-time event. It is a daily commitment to becoming who you were always meant to be. When you change the root, you won't have to chase the fruit. The fruit will find you. The right people will find you. The right opportunities will find you. The resources you need will find you. It's not magic. It's not mystery. It's simply law. You will never consistently outperform yourself. You can hustle. You can grind. You can sacrifice sleep and work around the clock. But if the image you hold of yourself is small, your results will shrink to match that image. You are not fighting the market. You are not fighting the economy. You are not fighting the competition. The real battle is always between the ears. The real battlefield is your mind, your perception, your sense of who you are and what you are entitled to walk in. Your self-identity sets the boundaries of your success. It is the ceiling you can't rise above and the floor you can't fall beneath. If you secretly believe you are unworthy of wealth, you will find a way to sabotage every opportunity, no matter how gifted, talented, or hardworking you are. You do not get in life what you want. You get in life who you are. Everything you attract, everything you repel is a reflection of the dominant picture you carry inside. If you carry the picture of a struggler, you will find yourself constantly struggling. If you carry the picture of someone always being overlooked, passed over, or taken advantage of, you will find yourself living out that narrative over and over again. The script that runs your life is not out there somewhere. It's the one you're rehearsing internally every single day. And if you don't consciously rewrite the script, you unconsciously repeat the same scenes year after year. Your current circumstances are not just the result of external factors. They are the fruit of internal programming. You were programmed by experiences, by the words spoken over you, by the culture you grew up in, by the expectations of the people around you. You were programmed to think a certain way about success, about failure, about money, about relationships, about your own worth. Some of that programming served you and some of it sabotaged you. But now, if you are serious about becoming rich, you must become ruthless about reprogramming yourself to match your destiny instead of your history. It is not enough to say affirmations once in a while when you feel inspired. It is not enough to dream big when you are at a seminar or listening to a motivational speaker. Reprogramming your identity requires a daily confrontation with the lies that have been living rent-free in your mind. You must evict the beliefs that say you are not enough. You must uproot the ideas that say wealth is for other people but not for you. You must destroy the internalized limitations that keep you acting like a slave when you were born to be a king. This is not a casual process. This is not a passive process. This is war for your future. Every decision you make flows from the version of yourself you believe you are. If you see yourself as a powerful wealth creator, you will approach famous business differently. You will speak differently. You will expect different treatment. You will demand different outcomes. But if you see yourself as a struggler, you will negotiate against yourself. You will undercharge, over-apologize, and settle for crumbs when you were designed for the feast. Your feet can only go where your mind has already traveled. If your mind is stuck in survival, your actions will never lead to abundance. A person with a poor self-image will always sabotage prosperity because they feel like an imposter when abundance shows up. Deep down, they don't believe they deserve it. Deep down, they are waiting for the other shoe to drop. And so they unconsciously push it away, reject it, or lose it. It was never about the money. It was always about the mirror. It was always about what you see when you look at yourself without the titles, without the trophies, without the trappings of success. The truth is, you were created in the image of greatness. You were created with the DNA of dominion. But the world taught you to shrink, to bow, to settle, to apologize for wanting more. You must return to your original design. You must remember who you were before life told you who you could not be. The blueprint for wealth is already inside you, but it has been buried under layers of fear, doubt, guilt, and shame. Excavating it requires boldness. It requires faith. It requires you to stop identifying with your mistakes and start identifying with your mission. When you upgrade your self-identity, you upgrade your standards, you upgrade your associations, you upgrade your conversations, you upgrade your investments. You no longer entertain relationships that drain you. You no longer tolerate environments that suffocate your vision. You no longer waste time defending your dreams to people who were never assigned to understand them. You move differently because you know you are different. You lead your life instead of living on accident. Most people live reacting to circumstances. They wait for validation. They wait for permission. They wait for a sign. But a person with a rich self-identity doesn't wait for the world to tell them they're valuable. They show up carrying value. They show up as the answer to a problem. They show up with solutions, with strategies, with certainty. And the marketplace rewards certainty. Money moves in the direction of confidence. Wealth flows to those who expect it, prepare for it, and embody it internally before it shows up externally. You must live now like the version of you who already has what you say you want. Walk like it, talk like it, think like it, serve like it, coordinate like it, negotiate like it, lead like it, because when your identity matches your destiny has no choice but to manifest. The mind is the control center of your life. Everything you experience, everything you attract, everything you produce starts with the programming that runs your thinking. Your mind is like fertile soil. Whatever seeds you plant will grow, whether those seeds are seeds of poverty or seeds of prosperity. If you plant thoughts of limitation, fear, and lack, you will harvest frustration, scarcity, and struggle. If you plant thoughts of abundance, creativity, and excellence, you will harvest opportunities, wealth, and favor. The soil doesn't care what you plant. It's your responsibility to guard the gates of your mind and sow intentionally. Most people have been programmed for survival, not success. From the time they were children, they were told things like, money doesn't grow on trees, rich people are greedy, you have to struggle if you want to get ahead, be grateful you even have a job. These phrases sound harmless on the surface, but they implant seeds of scarcity that take root deep in the subconscious. And without realizing it, people spend their whole lives operating from that old programming, wondering why no matter how hard they work, they can't seem to break through to abundance. You cannot create wealth with a poverty mentality. You cannot operate as a magnet for money when your mind is running software that repels it. You cannot attract opportunities for greatness if your internal dialogue is constantly rehearsing failure, fear, and frustration. Your mind is like a thermostat. And if your wealth consciousness is set to a certain level, anytime you start to rise above it, you will unconsciously sabotage yourself back down to what feels familiar. If you want new results, you must reprogram the thermostat. You must reset your mind to new levels of wealth expectancy. Reprogramming your mind is not a one-time event. It is a daily discipline. It is the conscious, intentional choice to reject thoughts that do not serve your destiny and to replace them with thoughts that align with your calling. It is recognizing that every time you think a thought, you are wiring your brain. You are building highways in your mind. And the more you travel down a thought path, the easier it becomes to think that way again. If you constantly think thoughts of lack, you carve deep roads of scarcity thinking into your brain. If you begin to think thoughts of abundance, gratitude, favor, creativity, and dominion, you start building new highways that will lead you to a new destination. This is why meditation matters. This is why visualization matters. This is why declarations matter. You are not just making noise when you speak life over yourself. You are reprogramming the deepest layers of your identity. You are interrupting old patterns of fear and replacing them with patterns of faith. You are no longer allowing the programming of your past, your parents, or your environment to dictate your future. You are taking ownership of your mind because you recognize that whoever controls your mind controls your money, your relationships, your impact, and your legacy. If you want to program your mind for wealth, you must saturate it with the images, the language, and the environments of wealth. You cannot hang around people who constantly talk about how broke they are, how bad the economy is, and how impossible success is, and expect to rise into abundance. Faith comes by hearing, and so does fear. You must be intentional about what you allow yourself to hear, see, and speak. You must immerse your mind in books, podcasts, sermons, conversations, and communities that stretch your thinking, that challenge your excuses, that expand your vision of what's possible. Wealth is not a destination you arrive at. It is a mindset you live from. Wealth is not just about how much money you have in the bank. It is about how you see yourself, how you see God, how you see the marketplace, and how you see your own potential. When you see yourself as a resource, a solution, a blessing, a conduit of abundance, you move differently. You expect doors to open. You expect favor to flow. You expect provision to meet your vision. You stop begging life for permission and start commanding your environment to align with your assignment. There is a reason God said, be transformed by the renewing of your mind. He didn't say be transformed by working harder, by getting another degree, by networking more aggressively. He said the transformation comes by changing the way you think, because when you change your thinking, you change your believing. When you change your believing, you change your receiving. When you change your receiving, you change your entire experience of life. Wealth starts in the unseen before it shows up in the seen. It starts in the spirit before it shows up in the natural. It starts in the mind before it shows up in the bank account. Many people are trying to manifest millions with minds programmed for minimum wage. They want maximum harvest, but are still sowing minimum expectation. You cannot rise higher than the dominant thoughts you hold about yourself and your future. Every thought carries power. Every thought carries creative energy. Every thought moves you closer to or farther away from your destiny. There is no neutral thinking. You are either programming yourself for wealth or programming yourself for want. Every thought is a seed, and every seed has a harvest. You must be violent about evicting scarcity thinking. You must be relentless about planting abundant thinking. You must be unapologetic about building a mind that expects increase, that expects multiplication, that expects favor, that expects overflow. You must treat your mind like a garden under constant attack. Pull the weeds, guard the gates, water the good seeds daily, nurture them with faith, gratitude, and expectation. Speak life over your dreams, even when nothing looks like it's working yet. Believe bigger, even when the evidence is small. Stay rooted in the truth that your mind is the womb of miracles. Wealth is not an accident. It is not the result of random chance or lucky breaks. Wealth is governed by laws, just like gravity is governed by laws. If you drop a pen, it falls to the ground every single time because of the law of gravity. It does not matter whether you believe in gravity, whether you understand gravity, or whether you agree with gravity. The law works because the law is the law. Wealth works the same way. There are laws that govern prosperity, and when you align with those laws, wealth flows. When you violate those laws, lack and limitations show up to collect their due. The problem is most people are trying to become wealthy while ignoring the laws that govern wealth. They are wishing for money instead of working the laws. They are hoping for a breakthrough without sowing the seeds required to produce a harvest. They are crying out for abundance while living in disobedience to the principles that create it. Ignorance of the law is no excuse. If you step off a building, gravity pulls you down whether you know about it or not. If you live outside the laws of wealth, financial struggle pulls you down whether you are aware or not. Mastery begins with understanding that the laws are bigger than your feelings, your circumstances, or your opinions. One of the primary laws of wealth is the law of sowing and reaping. You cannot harvest what you have not planted. You cannot withdraw where you have not invested. If you want money to come into your life, you must become a sower. Money is a seed. Ideas are a seed. Time is a seed. Relationships are a seed. Every time you sow into the life of someone else, into a business venture, into your education, into solving a problem, you are setting yourself up for a harvest. Farmers don't pray for crops without planting seeds. They plant and then expect. Most people want to live in expectation without living in sowing. Faith without works is dead. Belief without action is deception. It is not enough to think wealthy thoughts, speak wealthy words, and envision a wealthy future if you are not willing to move your feet in the direction of the wealth you claim to desire. Action is the bridge between intention and manifestation. Action is the physical proof that you truly believe what you say you believe. Without aligned, bold action, you are just daydreaming. You are just wishing and hoping instead of partnering with divine laws to bring your vision into reality. Aligned action is not random movement. It is not busyness for the sake of busyness. It is not doing 10 different things halfway and calling it progress. Aligned action is strategic. It is targeted. It is spirit-led. It is doing the right things at the right time with the right focus. It is moving according to divine instruction, marketplace wisdom, and personal assignment. It is working smart and working hard, but in a direction that actually leads you to your destiny. So many people are tired but not triumphant because they are busy but not aligned. Bold action is fearless execution in the face of uncertainty. It is making moves even when the outcome is not guaranteed. It is stepping forward when others shrink back. It is risking embarrassment, risking failure, risking rejection, and doing it anyway because you know who sent you and you know why you were sent. Bold action separates the talkers from the takers. It separates those who want it from those who are willing to move toward it. Bold action opens doors that timid intentions never will. Bold action attracts favor, accelerates progress, and compels provision to meet you on the road called obedience. The reason so many people stay stuck is not because they lack opportunity. It is because they hesitate, they overthink, they doubt, they delay. They want every question answered, every step revealed, every guarantee signed before they move. But wealth does not wait for you to feel ready. Wealth responds to those who move, ready or not. Wealth responds to those who decide that fear will not be the master of their movements. Wealth responds to those who understand that faith is spelled R-I-S-K, aligned. Bold action starts with clarity. You cannot move with power if you do not know what you are moving toward. You must get clear on your goals, your vision, your calling, and your next steps. Vagueness will paralyze you. Uncertainty will keep you spinning in circles. Clarity will give you the courage to act because you know exactly what you are saying yes to. Clarity produces confidence. Confidence produces courage. Courage produces momentum. And momentum produces miracles. After clarity comes commitment. You must commit to the process, not just the outcome. Most people want the prize without embracing the process. They want the mansion without the mortgage. They want the breakthrough without the breaking. But aligned, bold action means you are committed to doing the work, whether or not it feels good, whether or not it looks glamorous, whether or not it produces instant results. It means you are married to your mission, not just dating your dreams. It means you have burned the boats, destroyed the backup plans, and decided that forward is the only direction you recognize. Aligned, bold action also demands consistency. One great day does not build wealth. One big decision does not create a dynasty. It is what you do repeatedly, faithfully, daily, even when nobody is watching, that determines whether you rise into your next level. Consistency compounds. Consistency multiplies. Consistency builds unstoppable momentum. The world rewards those who show up when they feel like it, and especially when they don't. The wealthy are not always the most talented or the most connected. Often, they are the most consistent. You must understand that opportunities are perishable. Doors do not stay open forever. Windows do not remain cracked indefinitely. Seasons shift. Timings change. What is available today might not be available next year or even next month. When opportunity knocks, you must be willing to answer without hesitation. When the divine nudge comes, you must be willing to move without needing all the details. Delayed obedience is disobedience. Half-hearted action is no action. You cannot harvest in a season you refused to sow. You cannot prosper from a door you refuse to walk through. Aligned, bold action is fueled by belief. Not just belief in yourself, but belief in the God who sent you, belief in the assignment you carry, belief in the impact you were designed to make. Doubt produces double-mindedness, and a double-minded man is unstable in all his ways. You cannot take bold action while simultaneously second-guessing your worth, your vision, and your voice. You must believe that you are equipped for every good work. You must believe that provision is already prepared. You must believe that favor surrounds you like a shield. You must believe that even if you stumble, grace will catch you, wisdom will correct you, and momentum will carry you aligned. Bold action will always require leaving your comfort zone. You cannot grow and stay comfortable at the same time. Wealthy territory is outside the borders of your current comfort. You must be willing to do uncomfortable things, to have uncomfortable conversations, to make uncomfortable investments, to stretch in uncomfortable directions if you want to access the next level. Comfort zones are prisons disguised as peace. If you are serious about wealth, you must decide that growth is your new comfort, that expansion is your new normal, that elevation is your new environment. Aligned, bold action demands you build before you see. Most people wait to see before they build. They wait for the customers before they launch the product. They wait for the applause before they write the book. They wait for the guaranteed income before they start the business. But kingdom wealth operates differently. You move by faith, not by sight. You move first and the fruit shows up later. You build the ark before it rains. You prepare the field before it's harvest time. You plant the seeds before you see the sprouts. Aligned, bold action requires trusting the process even when the promise feels distant. You are not waiting for permission to prosper. You are not waiting for the economy to stabilize. You are not waiting for everyone to approve or understand. You are not waiting for all conditions to be perfect. You are authorized by God and activated by decision. Your future is waiting for your movement. Your abundance is waiting for your action. Your destiny is waiting for your obedience. Overflow is not something you chase. Overflow is something you position yourself for. You don't force overflow to happen. You align your life so that overflow becomes inevitable. You prepare yourself, you posture yourself, you plant yourself in the right soil, and then overflow finds you. Most people are trying to manufacture abundance through stress, hustle, and striving. But overflow is a supernatural phenomenon that happens when you are rooted in the right principles, connected to the right source, and moving in the right direction. Staying positioned for overflow begins with your mindset. You cannot experience on the outside what you have not first established on the inside. If your mind is cluttered with fear, scarcity, lack, and limitation, you will repel the very abundance you claim to want. You must have a mind that expects increase, a mind that anticipates blessing, a mind that is conditioned to receive. The mind must be renewed daily, not just once. You must marinate your thoughts in abundance so deeply that overflow becomes your default expectation instead of struggle. Your heart posture also matters. Bitterness, envy, resentment, unforgiveness, and jealousy are toxins that block the flow of wealth. You cannot live in overflow while carrying offenses and grudges. You cannot access abundance while harboring negativity against others who have what you say you want. What you celebrate, you attract. What you resent, you repel. If you cannot rejoice in someone else's blessing, you are not yet ready for your own. Staying positioned for overflow means keeping your heart pure, your motives clean, and your spirit light. It means forgiving quickly, blessing freely, and loving unconditionally. You must also stay connected to your divine source. Overflow does not originate from the marketplace. Institutes. It does not originate from the economy. It does not originate from clients, contracts, or customers. Those are just channels. God is the source. When you stay plugged into the source, the channels can shift, but your supply never runs dry. When you honor the source, overflow becomes your portion. Prayer is positioning. Praise is positioning. Obedience is positioning. Staying intimately connected to the Creator ensures that the created things continue to flow into your life. Another critical part of positioning for overflow is stewardship. If you mishandle what you have now, you disqualify yourself from more. If you are careless with small amounts, you will be careless with large amounts. Overflow is a reward for excellence, not an accident of chance. Are you faithful over your current resources? Are you managing your finances with wisdom? Are you organizing your business with diligence? Are you honoring your body, your relationships, your opportunities with integrity? Stewardship proves you are ready for the next level. Stewardship proves you are not just praying for overflow, but preparing for it. You must also stay planted in the right environments. The soil you are in determines the fruit you produce. Some people are talented, anointed, gifted, but they are in environments that stifle their growth, environments that choke their dreams, environments that drain their energy. You must evaluate the soil of your associations, the soil of your habits, the soil of your routines. Are you in a place that stretches you, challenges you, nourishes you, and speaks to the greatness inside you? Or are you surrounded by negativity, doubt, mediocrity, and fear? Overflow requires that you stay in fertile soil. Staying positioned for overflow demands obedience without delay. Partial obedience is disobedience. Delayed obedience is disobedience. If you are given an instruction, start the business, write the book, make the call, invest in the opportunity, and you sit on it, hesitate, or second guess it, you break alignment with overflow. Overflow is attracted to swift obedience. When you hear the instruction and move immediately, doors open that would have remained shut. Opportunities materialize that you could not have orchestrated on your own. Miracles unfold in the momentum of obedience. You must develop the ability to endure seasons of invisibility without uprooting yourself. Overflow often follows seasons of preparation, where nobody sees you, nobody applauds you, and nobody validates you. Many people abort their harvest because they get weary during the hidden seasons. They think because there is no visible fruit, the seed was bad. But seed does not sprout overnight. The roots go down before the shoots go up. Staying positioned for overflow means you remain faithful, excellent, and expectant, even when it looks like nothing is happening. You keep sowing, keep serving, keep showing up, and trust that the process is working even when you cannot yet see the progress. Another key to staying positioned for overflow is generosity. Stingy people repel overflow. Hoarders repel overflow. Those who clutch what they have with a death grip communicate to the universe that they do not trust the supply. Generous people understand that giving is not losing. Giving is sowing. Giving is expanding capacity. Giving keeps the river of abundance flowing through their lives. Every time you release something from your hand, you make room for something greater. Every act of generosity is a seed that multiplies beyond what you could imagine. Overflow is reserved for those who have proven they will not dam up the river, but will allow it to bless others as it blesses them. Staying positioned for overflow means refusing to be moved by external circumstances. Markets go up and down. Economies fluctuate. Industries shift. But overflow is not subject to natural conditions. It is governed by supernatural laws. If you allow fear, bad news, or shifting trends to move you, you step out of position. You must be like a tree planted by the rivers of water, unshakable, unmovable, always abounding. Your source does not dry up because of a bad report. Your harvest is not canceled because of a temporary drought. When you are positioned properly, overflow becomes inevitable regardless of what is happening externally. Ultimately, staying positioned for overflow is a daily decision, is the choice to align your mind, heart, habits, and actions with the laws of abundance. It is a refusal to be distracted, discouraged, or derailed by temporary conditions. It is a steadfast commitment to walk by faith, sow in faith, serve in faith, give in faith, and expect in faith. Positioning is not passive. It is proactive. It is intentional. It is a lifestyle of preparation for what you have already been promised.